Hello and welcome to the agenda. I am Ajay Kaul. Today we will discuss about how India is going to enter the global defense exporters market. In a major move, the government has decided to start export of Akash surface-to-air missiles. According to the government, some countries have also shown interest in other major Indian defense systems like coastal surveillance system, radars, and air platforms. A committee has also been formed for speedy approvals to export of such systems. So, is India finally entering the arena of exporters of defense systems? We will discuss this in the agenda today with two defense experts. We have with us retired Brigadier Vinod Datta and former DRDO scientist Ravi Gupta. But before we begin our conversation, let's have a look at this small report.
India, which is the world's second largest importer of arms, is set to become an exporter of weapon systems. The government has approved export of Akash surface-to-air missiles to some friendly countries which have shown interest. Akash missile, which has been developed with 96% indigenization, has a range of 25 kilometers. The export version of Akash missile will be different from the system currently deployed with the Indian Armed Forces. The approval by the Union Cabinet will enable Indian manufacturers to participate in the tendering processes issued by various countries. The government said that besides Akash, there is interest coming in for other major platforms like coastal surveillance system, radars and air platforms. The government has formed a committee comprising Defence Minister, External Affairs Minister and National Security Advisor to provide fast approvals for export of such platforms. The committee would also explore various available options including the government-to-government route. The Government of India intends to focus on exporting high-value defence platforms to achieve target of $5 billion of defense export and improve strategic relations with friendly foreign countries. Bureau Report.
Now let's welcome our guests, Brigadier Datta and Mr. Ravi Gupta. Welcome to the program, sir.
Thank you.
So I'll begin by asking Mr. Ravi Gupta. Today is the DRDO day, and congratulations to you. So now we are talking about the Akash, the decision taken by the government to export Akash surface-to-air missiles. How do you see that decision?
It is a game-changing, a fast-breaking decision taken by the present government. I thank the government for this. This is something which should have been taken long ago. But nevertheless, now it has been taken. I am sure it is going to change the way defense production, R&D, and procurements are done in our country. And done not only within the country, but globally. India has always had potential to be world's largest exporter of arms. Unfortunately, we remain largest importer of arms. Now, I think that today's decision of allowing the exports is going to change that slowly, but surely.
So if I may ask you, why Akash?
Yeah, good question. Why Akash? First of all, Akash is one such system which we can safely export. And combined with the fact that Akash is 100% indigenous. When I say 100% indigenous, it means that we have the complete control over the supply chain. Even otherwise, about 96% or more than 96% of the components and subsystems are being produced in the country, and they are designed and developed within the country. The entire missile system, and not only the missile system, the entire air defense system. See, there is a difference. One part is the missile is only one part of it. The rest is the central acquisition radar, the battlefield radar, the tracking radar, Gadanta. Then the entire control system. Akash air defense system is a smart system with a lot of built-in artificial intelligence. It can take autonomous decisions in a fully automatic mode, right from surveillance to acquisition of target to classifying it as an enemy or foe or friendly target, and then taking a decision which is the nearest missile battery to take care of the target. So all these things are fully automated. Now, to answer your question, this is a fully indigenous system, and unlike we have many other fully indigenous systems like our Agni and Prithvi, but strategic missiles we will not be exporting. No country exports a strategic missiles which are for nuclear attacks or nuclear deterrence. But this is one system which is purely for defense, for establishing peace and for defending the nation. And we would like it to share with the friendly nations. We want them to be strengthened, empowered, and this will help in the long run. These nations becoming empowered and strengthened, and it will also strengthen the bond of friendship with these countries.
Right. So, Brigadier Datta, you heard Mr. Gupta, since he belongs to DRDO, so he gave some insight about it. So, how do you see this decision? Is this a game changer, as Mr. Gupta said?
Good evening, Ajayji, and first of all, let me wish a very happy DRDO day to all the scientists and Mr. Gupta, who have really put in very, very long hours to make India proud.
Right.
And there are a large number of platforms which are operational, and it is courtesy DRDO. Yes, it is a very good decision that India has taken this initiative to put this weapon system, for the friendly foreign countries. And as Mr. Ravi Gupta has rightly brought out, that we could have been the biggest exporters, at least in our region, but unfortunately we ended up as the second largest importer of weapons. And yes, we have these kind of capabilities, but what we have been facing is that modernization in India, as far as defense industry is concerned, has been in spurts. It has been in jerks, and it has not been a very smooth operation which has taken place, because there was no strategic vision which was there. So yes, it is a welcome. Earlier, what policy we were following is, because since I was working in one of the foreign countries during my currency of service, I was told that you have to hand over certain weapons to this country. And when I had gone to meet their counterpart, and they told me that, sir, this is an outdated equipment which your country is giving to us. So I had to literally convince them, no, it is basically for the training purposes, so the cadets get this thing, and the latest variants are going to come, and once the government takes a decision, they will be made available to you. So what we must do is that we must have a complete approach, a strategic vision. I mean, it cannot be, government to government, or, the cycle of modernization be from one election to another, or from one crisis to another.
Right. Mr. Gupta, I'll come back to you. Yeah. You said that Akash is indigenously developed. Then what are other? We have a lot, big missile program. Aren't like Nag, Prithvi, Agni. So they are also indigenous, isn't it?
They are also indigenous, yes, very true. And that's why, as I said, we can divide the missile arsenal of our country. I'm talking about all indigenously developed. So there is two broad categories. One is the strategic system, like Agni, like Prithvi, like Shaurya, like K-15, K-4. These are all missiles which are used for carrying nuclear weapons. Normally, you can carry whatever you like. Dr. Kalam has once said that, well, this is a platform. Whether you carry a nuclear bomb or you carry a bouquet of flowers, it is your choice.
Right.
But normally they are for deterrence. In the normal battlefield scenario, we use tactical battlefield missiles like Akash for air defense, like NAV, anti-tank missile, defending against the offense against the tanks. Similarly, you have long-range surface-to-air missiles, the MRSAMs. We have got air-to-air missiles like Astra. These are all indigenous. The LRSAM and MRSAM were developed in Kolemish. Then we have BrahMos cruise missiles. Unlike the ballistic missile, the cruise missile flies like an unmanned aircraft and travel long distances. It is our choice to make it fly at very low, the surface skimming mode, or quite high. But it flies at a high speed because the BrahMos is unique in itself. Now, definitely, yes, other tactical missiles also we will be slowly exporting. Akash, the advantage is it is fully indigenous, it is latest missile, it is a series of missiles which have been developed or have been developed. Like you have this first one is the one which was developed along with the IGMD. It took a long time to get it accepted. Let me tell you a story. This Akash missile was originally for army.
So as you mentioned, please carry on.
Yeah, this was developed with army in mind as per the army's requirement. It has taken quite a long time to get inducted. It was still under testing trial mode from one summer to another summer, one winter to another winter. One day what happened was that when it was being tested, there was a very senior Air Force official who was there for some other work. He happened to be there. He was invited to witness the trials and he was so impressed that he said, yes, this can serve our purpose. So as a matter of fact, Air Force became the first one to induct Akash.
Right.
Long time to develop, but today, for next, I can show you, coming 20 years or even more than that, Akash is going to remain a contemporary missile, effective missile. Effective against the low-flying targets. It can hit targets as low as 30 meters. It can hit targets flying as high as 18 kilometers. The small aircraft, the large aircraft, and the smaller, the tactical missiles as well. So this is a very potent vehicle flying at more than 2.5 times the speed of sound. This entire range of 25 kilometers, it covers in a matter of few seconds. So among the most potent weapons in the artillery arsenal of any country.
I think understand that it can be launched from any mobile platform. Is that right?
Yeah, since it was primarily the army's requirement, they wanted to be the entire thing, not only the missile, but also the command control centers and the radars to be road mobile. And road mobile means that cross country, not just where the roads are there. Anywhere in the country, wherever any vehicle can go, this system should be able to go. That was the requirement. That requirement has been fulfilled.
Okay.
Besides, the Air Force version, they wanted it to be static. So for them, the launchers are static. They are placed at, they can be mobile also. The entire static launcher can be on a vehicle as well. But normally they are kept near the target to be, near our assets, which have to be defended.
Yeah, basically for defense, air defense isn't it?
Yeah.
So, Brigadier Datta, I'll come to you. Since you heard Mr. Gupta explaining about the entire operation of Akash, basically it's an air defense system.
Yeah.
So, when we have Akash, such a very efficient air defense system, but still we are going to import S-400 from Russia, how does it justify?
You see, Dr. Gupta has already brought out the various, features and important characteristics of this weapon system. In modern weaponry, which is, digital oriented, and the biggest challenge which the tactical battle area faces, that the equipment or the weapon platforms, they get outdated, because the better versions or the better variants are available in the market. And you see, the technology, it is like, our own cell phones or something, that the moment you buy one model and the better version comes, then people are looking for that. And you also have to see the, compatibility of your these air defense system in light of the adversaries you have to face. What kind of weaponry they have acquired, what kind of jamming systems they have, what kind of countermeasures or electronic countermeasures they are using. So we have to follow a system which is compatible, which is in sync with the technology.
Brigadier Datta, if we
Yeah.
talk about compatibility and upgradation,
Yeah.
if Akash is our own missile system, so we can always upgrade it. We have used this technology, we can always upgrade it, and we can
Yeah.
make it compatible with any platform.
Yeah.
So isn't it at an advantage rather than S-400? Then we have to go to Russia for again upgradation and other things.
No, if you see the weapon delivery system or the kind of the ammunition which is to be used, or the tracking system which is there, or the CNR system which is there, the S-400 is far superior platform which is there. In terms of ranges, in terms of the CNR or the tracking system. So this was basically inducted in Air Force in 2014. It has got a range of say about 25 kilometers. So the entire the battle landscape is changing. So you have to have, like, it is Tejas versus the Rafale. Tejas is also an aircraft and Rafale is also there. And if you see the cost factor,
I may beg to differ, because if we compare aircraft, we are not the best in the world in combat aircraft. But in missiles, we are the best, among the best. So I think we may be manufacturing better missile systems.
Generally, the export to these friendly foreign countries is done to an equipment which has been tested, and as Mr. Gupta had brought out, that which has a very high indigenous content. Secondly, I am sure no country is going to give the best technology to any other country.
Right.
Like if you see the transfer of technology or the offset clause in Rafale, it was to the tune of 50%. Only 30% the contractual obligation has been met. So it can be by default or design, and more so by design.
No,
so
I think
India is also going to follow the same.
I think the version which is to be exported is a different version that the one we are using.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Gupta, do you agree with Brigadier Datta's view that S-400 is better than Akash?
Certainly not. I do agree with Brigadier Datta to the extent that, yes, nobody gives you the latest technologies. No country will sell you whatever the frontline equipment they are having. And same applies to S-400 also. Russia is never going to give you whatever is the best they are having. Now, comparing Akash with S-400, I think it is not a comparison at all. Why? I tell you why. Because Akash, as I said earlier on another occasion as well, our air defense system we built not as a comprehensive, very, very long-range system. Akash requirement was given in 80s, and this was built around that. That is a different matter that we have got many new versions of Akash, like Akash NG is coming, Akash 1S, which has got a seeker as well, which enhances the first shot kill probability. So that is a different issue. But as a matter of fact, Akash has been designed to be a 25-kilometer long range system. We have got another missile called LRSAM and MRSAM, which are with Russian Israeli collaboration.
Israel, yeah.
They go up to 70 kilometers.
Right.
Now, S-400, people get sometimes, S-400 doesn't mean that it can take care of one single missile will be taken care of from, let us say, 10 kilometers to 400 kilometers. No. S-400 is a bunch of a large number of missiles, ranging from 20-25 kilometers like Akash to the longest one having about 300 kilometers, which Russia has designed for its own terrain. As we know, Russia, the land mass is too much, population density is very low. And in between the pockets of population density, there are long stretches which are highly inhospitable, but they have to defend them. So if they go on setting up the command units at every, let us say, 100 kilometers or so, it will be very expensive for them. Unlike them, India, we have got an entirely different kind of land. Entire land is saturated. We have got assets all over the country and we have to defend them. And plus we have got mountains which Russia doesn't have. Now, S-400 will be almost practically useless if you are thinking to defend Himalayas or Karakoram. Because their radar systems and their long-range missiles will not be able to take care of the targets flying low and hiding behind the hill. They will suddenly pop up, attack and go away. Whereas Akash and the similar systems which we have developed, they have been developed to take care of each and every part of Indian terrain. They are cost effective. The cost of one Akash system is extremely low as compared to S-400. It's a very expensive system. How many we can buy? And Akash we can produce as many as you like. Plus, whatever range you require, you let the Army or Air Force give us the requirement. Within a very short period of time, that range will be given. I can assure today DRDO is 100% self-sufficient in missile system. So whatever is required can be given. The reason you asked, what is the reason why we are going? I say earlier, the primary reason used to be the economic. Economic means economic personally. For some people, gaining economic, some kind of backhand money getting exchanged.
Kickbacks.
Big ticket defense procurement has been without scam. The other reason has been diplomacy. And I have always emphasized, let us switch over from import diplomacy to export diplomacy. Many times we buy a system from other countries just to keep it happy. Now times have changed. We have to switch over to export it to make them happy.
Right.
And gain economically as well.
Very true.
I think this government is doing very right. It has taken a right decision, opening up the biggest hurdle in export to all this bureaucracy.
So,
because long bureaucracy, the Babudam. They will keep sitting on the files and for years and years, the permission to export will never come by the time the item becomes obsolete. As Bigger has also pointed out, by the time the country might have demanded and by the time you give them permission, much water is flown in Ganges and the country says now it is no useful to me. Now that Apex committee has been set up with two ministers and our NSA as the members. So I hope that decision taking will be very fast, permissions will be given faster and more or less kind of a real time.
Okay, Brigadier Datta, Brigadier Datta,
Yeah.
You heard Mr. Gupta explaining how Akash is better than S-400. So he was also hinting that the lure for kickbacks actually has been holding us back from exporting. Do you agree?
Yes, I agree with him. But you see, what happens is in the air defense spectrum, there are many layers which are there. So it is like a bunch of various other air defense equipment which gets into the airspace management. Because if you see the airspace is primarily the domain of Air Force. So you have to utilize, because you see the warfare ethos have also changed to a great extent. Earlier, if you see the aircrafts when they were about to engage the target, they used to fly quite low and then they used to pull up. But now that tactics is no longer being used because you have precision and a smart ammunition which is there. So and which is digitally controlled. The moment the target gets engaged and locked, I mean the pilot rest assures and he can deliver the bombs or the ammunition. So one of the major factors is that you have to beat the air defense system, because now the job of pilots, it has become easier at one end and it has become tougher to air defense system. So you have to outsmart the enemy air defense system so as to engage and destroy your targets and yet come out safely to your own airfields.
Okay, Mr. Gupta, as we talked about that the committee has been set up to expedite the approvals for other exports. What other items could we export?
Well, it is a long list from not only from missiles but from outside missiles also. Now, talking of within the missiles, we have got anti-tank missiles, ATGM. NAG is proven missile already accepted and induction is going on. A few years back, the shoulder-fired missile with a 2-kilometer range ATGM was also developed and demonstrated. That also is a good candidate for exports. BrahMos has been talked about for a long time, and I don't see any major problem in exporting BrahMos. We have got our Tejas aircraft. We have to see all these missiles, the smaller missiles, they are small kind of things. We have developed a joint venture, the protective carbine JVTC, one of the best carbine in the world. There is a big scope for its export. Then we have got our towed artillery gun system, 165 mm by 52 mm gun. And this is being manufactured by a private company, and this again, like Akash missile system, is 100% indigenous. Acceptable big bearing, specialized bearing which was being imported, and the numbers, the flowing, as far as the orders flow in large numbers, even that can be made in India. It is not a technologically critical item. So, a ATGS system is an indigenous system and is a big scope for its export. Then Tejas aircraft. Tejas is a big ticket item. Each aircraft costs much more than the
But Mr. Gupta, as I may point out here that we earlier also, I think a decade back, we tried to export Dhruv helicopters, light helicopter, combat helicopter. It was exported to Ecuador, and one of those 6 crashed, and then there was a disaster. So, is there any apprehension like this in missiles?
See, as far as missiles, and of course, it's a very complex system. As far as DRDO is concerned, DRDO is supposed to design and develop. Go to the prototype stage, and after the prototype, the things are handed over to the production agency. Now, most unfortunately in our country, the production, they was monopolized by the government-owned organized factories in DPSUs, which are totally under the control of bureaucracy. Who is heading the Department of Defense Production? If there was something wrong which what HAL has developed and it did not meet the requirement and there was some problem in the quality control, I would ask why the chief of that department not taken to task.
Right.
Those chiefs will come and go after 2-year tenure, and today he is sitting in defense production, tomorrow he goes to agriculture, and next day some other department. Now what is this? This production is a highly specialized job. Right. Unless we throw out bubbles from the professional system, professionalism will never come. So that is a big question mark with every export, which is being manufactured by the government agencies.
So our time is running out. I have to ask one last question. I will ask the same question to Brigadier Datta. As you heard Mr. Gupta, that Babudam is a major problem.
Yes, it is a very big hurdle because people, they suffer from 2 very major challenges, ahem and vahem. You see, they don't let anything pass through unless, and some of them are blissfully ignorant about the various nuances. So just because they wield the power and they can stall it, they don't allow these things. And what a very good pertinent or a very pertinent point to what Dr. Gupta had said, I want to again underline it, that we must, start with these, low-tech items. Like INSAS is outlived its, utility as far as Indian Army is concerned. There are countries who have lesser rules of engagement, lesser, combat, exposure. Can be given these things. Astra
Right.
is there, Prahar missile is there, LCS we can, export. And by exporting this, not only we are going to earn some kind of revenue, we are also going to upgrade our own system. Like
Right.
if you see America, the very fact that they give you any weapon platform, they always ask you, and this point was also raised by Dr. Gupta in one of the discussions earlier, that if you don't have assured orders, the assembly lines are going to lie idle.
Right.
And that's not a very happy situation.
So we have a lot to export, but we had to only maybe streamline processes and take bold decisions. But thank you both of you for participating in this debate today.
Thank you very much for the nice program.
Thank you. This is all in the agenda today. Thanks for watching. I'll be back with another important topic tomorrow. Till then, goodbye.